everybody, and welcome back to the channel. It's new project time. We have got in this box right here, tape's come loose on some of it, but I haven't opened the thing yet. We have got something I've been wanting to do for a while. Let's go ahead and open it up and show you, then I'll... Okay, what we have in this box is a Slash 4x4 Ultimate. Now those are pretty run-of-the-mill, right? I mean, there's nothing you can get online and order them. We got something we're gonna do with this one right here. Let me throw the camera on pause and get it out of the box. I'll explain what I'm doing. All right, folks, here's what we have out of the box. It is a standard Slash Ultimate 4x4. Now, it's nothing different than what you can order. I ordered this thing off the internet. It advertises 60 plus. But if anyone's ever fooled with this, and you gotta watch this chart right here. There is ways to get it there, things you gotta do. And we're gonna start at the bottom of the barrel, and we're gonna go ahead and run this thing with the gearing that's in it, 2S LiPo, just to get a speed. Then we're gonna bump it up to 3S LiPo. We're gonna change the gearing out, and then we're gonna run it 3S. This thing is a 3S machine, so we're gonna run it on all Traxxas parts. Now we're not gonna use the system, the Traxxas right here, the Traxxas link. We're not gonna use that for checking speed and what have you. Let me show you what we're gonna be using. We're gonna be using this Sky RC. Link to my cell phone, that way we can get a good reading. Now these are available on the internet. I've watched several videos, they seem pretty reliable. This thing will check speed as well as altitude. If we're having to deal with altitude, we've done something really wrong. All we're worried about speed. So now this has been done before, I'm sure. This is nothing new, but I haven't done it. So we got this brand new Ultimate, which, as everybody knows, has already got some aluminum parts and bearings and this and that and the other. So we're gonna try to do the best we can, get as fast as we can on all Traxxas parts. Adjust the suspension, change shocks, change tires, change wheels, do the best we can before motor upgrades and what have you. You know, we want to, this thing is brushless, by the way, I forgot to mention that. Before we worry about changing any of the electronics or the motor, we want to get this thing as fast as we can on straight up Traxxas parts. Let's get it out of the box. I haven't seen it either till now. This is my first look at it. Let's go ahead and get the body off this thing. Standard clips. I really wish Traxxas would use the same method on this thing, on the Slash trucks, as they do on some of the other stuff like the XRT. Anyway, here we are, folks. This has the low center of gravity chassis. Anyone that hasn't fooled with one of these, like I said, all stock Traxxas. It's done got the heavy duty axles. It's got all the aluminum in there. These tires, I don't know what are these tires. BF Goodwrench Mud TA. We're gonna run this thing as it sets on 2S. 2S, 3S, change the gearing. Like I say, this may have been done before, but we're gonna do it. I gotta find out somewhere to mount this thing. It is rechargeable. I gotta figure out where I'm gonna mount this, maybe make a plate and screw right there. Then mount it down to it with some double-sided or some Velcro or something. Like I say, God forbid we have to worry about altitude. We want to keep this thing on the ground. So as you can tell, the low center of gravity chassis is down there. Oh, I'm sorry, get a better picture. So it's pretty low. So we're going to go ahead. We want this thing hugging the ground as best we can. We'll have to end up dropping it down, but we're not going to adjust anything till we run it. Y'all stay tuned. Let's see what we can do with this thing. Like I say, this is my version of it. If it's been done before, I'm sure they've done a wonderful job, so I want to see what we can do with one of them. All right, we've got the batteries charged up. Let's go ahead, turn on the controller, turn on the car. It appears like we're charged up and ready, so I'm gonna have to shut the phone off, shut the camera off, and turn on this GPS. I'm gonna get some shots and get it rolling. And I'll insert some screenshots of our speed test. See what this thing does. You ready? All right, that got that. It works. I'm gonna have to put the phone in my pocket. We'll go up here to the road and reset everything. Maiden voyage, first run with the battery I showed you. Stock gearing, stock everything. I've stressed that 2 or 3 times. See if we can get a baseline to start this on. Here we go. Let's see what we come up with. Stop, read. All right. Looks like out of the box, first run. We're going to try it again. We got, looks like out of the box, first read, we got 40 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and take a screenshot of that. That way I can post it in the video. We'll label it up as unidentified. I'm going to put first run. Run a distance of 673 feet in 29 seconds. Average speed, well, that don't count because we stopped. Let's go ahead and done. Get off that. Drag. Let's try this again. I suspect it's going to be about the same. Ready? All right, stop, read. Well, we got 41 miles an hour out of that one. So 40, 41, let's go ahead and take a screenshot of that. We're gonna call that our baseline. That's what we're gonna work with on this truck and hopefully improve each time we make an upgrade. Let's go in here and throw on some the other gearing and see what happens. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take the cover off and we're gonna install this new gear. Get in focus right here. Install it, see what we can come up with on the speed. Probably not gonna show you the entire installation process. I'll show you for anybody that's not tore into one of these. And I'd say if you're watching these videos, you've probably done tore into one of these, but we're gonna get right down in here. We're gonna replace the gear on the end of this motor, reposition it. That's where we're gonna hopefully gain some more speed out of. Be right back. And just like that, we went from the, you can see it, 13 tooth, says it right there. Went from the 13 tooth up to the bigger gearing that I showed you. It didn't have a label on it. And hopefully there's enough light right down here. Right there, much larger gear. We're gonna get this thing back out there. I'm gonna get this cover on. Battery charged back up and we'll see what this thing comes up with this time. I'm gonna go ahead and guess it was 41 last time. I'm gonna guess we might get right at 50, 51. Let's see what happens. All right, we have got this thing, the taller gear, and put in it like we showed you. Let's go out here and give this thing a test, see what it comes up with, and I guess we'll call this part 1 to this video series. we'll probably end it right there. But remember, we're going to do everything we can on stock Traxxas parts. From gearing to motors to suspension, tire, and then we'll eventually move into tires. Different motors, some way different gearing options, but I want to see what we can get out of the stock Traxxas equipment. Stock Traxxas options, excuse me, before we worry about moving into the aftermarket part of the thing. You're up. Here it comes, test number 2. Definitely got more speed out of it than we did the first pass. See what it come up with this time. Stop, read. It says 43. Let's start it all over. Let's go in and clear everything out. Clear cache on device. Clear all records are gone. Track, start. Comes cars. Let's get this thing up here and see what we can come up with now. We may have that gearing just a little bit tight. Stop, read, 42 miles an hour. We've only come up with 42 on that one. Let's go back and check our mesh. We may have the motor just a little bit tight. Let's go ahead and take a note of that. All right, let's go back and check the mesh on that gearing. See what we can come up with this time. All right, test 2.5, I guess, let's call it that. Can't even give it full throttle. Well, that ain't good. Well, we're showing up 46 mile an hour on that messed up run, so let's start again. Here we go. See what we can come up with this time. In the ditch. Well, let's see what we come up with anyway. Stop and read. 47 miles an hour. I don't know if we're going to get to 50 or not. We changed batteries a minute ago to a fully charged battery. Let's go ahead and log that. Looks like 47 may be our tops out of the box. And this is the way we find it. Well, that concludes part 1 of the initial run. We stock out of the box, and we changed gearing to the second gear that comes with it. We ran it, and we achieved 47 miles an hour, basically, with what comes in the box. We tried 2 different batteries, both of them charged up fresh, and that's all we got out of it. So, with that being said, we're going to start making some suspension adjustments. We're going to start trying to get the handling better, because as you can see from the video, with the best I could drive it, it's pretty loose. It's kind of all over the place. So we're going to have to, the shocks are adjustable. We're going to have to work on that. The thing stands up, but we're going to have to get it to where it'll stick to the ground handle. It's got sway bars and all. I mean, we can adjust these things. My son's got one of them. We can go ahead and get some better adjustment, get the thing to handle better. Like I said, we're not going to move on to aftermarket parts or gearing or anything until we see what we can do, the best we can do with what's in the box, what's available from Traxxas. We'll move up to that level before we start going into aftermarket, a lot of aftermarket parts. Hope you enjoyed the first part of the video. If you did, please like, share, subscribe. Helps the channel grow, helps me out on projects like this. We're going to leave it like that, call this part 1. Stay tuned, we'll start adjusting on this thing and see what we can come up with. Y'all have a great day. God bless, and we'll see you on the next one.